Well, we can only imagine the struggles that come along with homelessness, let alone dealing with that while being a teenager. The only emergency shelter for teens in southern Arizona is called Reunion House.
And they are celebrating their second anniversary helping the teens in our community. Melissa Benjamin and Krista Graff are here to explain how you can also be a part of that solution. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's start with kind of a broad, speaking about this. Why is it that homelessness in our community is something we should be giving attention to?
Well, there's a lot of reasons that we should be treating homelessness as an important issue in our community, and one of those is that it is really, really hard to accomplish anything when you think about going to school, getting a job, having any kind of employment or income. It's really hard to do that without having a home to go to at night and a place to sleep. When you're worried about where you're going to sleep at night, it's really hard to accomplish anything else. So.
And then that's why we have the Reunion House.
Yes.
Is meeting a lot of these needs, would you say, Chris?
Right, absolutely. Last year we housed 232 youth in Reunion House, so that's a big chunk, and it figures out to 7,000 bed nights. And a couple of statistics as I was researching this, but TUSD, they classified 2,000 of their students as homeless. AMFI, they classify 500 of them. So part of it is we just want people to know that there's a problem and to understand and think about that and how it affects the community.
Now, when we're talking about youth and those numbers, which are very shocking when
Right.
you put it into that perspective, so when we're talking about youth coming into the home, what kind of teens are ending up at Reunion House?
So a lot of them are abandoned, literally homeless, living on the streets, runaway youth. We also work with the child welfare system. So a lot of youth that are between placements in foster homes, or there isn't a foster home placement for them currently. Those are typically the sorts of teens that we're seeing in our program.
So, our viewers might be watching thinking, well, I don't know anybody who's homeless,
Right.
but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be thinking about it. Why is it so important for us as a community to kind of come together and really focus on this issue?
Well, like I was mentioning before, not having a home is just a huge deal. We kind of take for granted, I think, sometimes the fact that we have a place where we can go to sleep at night, where we can wake up in the morning, take a shower, prepare our meals, all those kinds of things. And it's really hard for a kid especially to do things like finish their homework. They have very interrupted education, and all those things make it hard for them to accomplish things later in life. So we really want to make sure that they have a place where they can be stable, and for everybody too, not just youth, for families and individuals experiencing homelessness in our community.
Absolutely, to be successful in productive parts of society,
Yes,
you
absolutely.
need to have that base.
Exactly.
Right, absolutely, and part of it, you talk about the numbers and the need, if I could read just an excerpt of a letter from a parent who wrote, "Dear Reunion House, thank you for helping our family in a moment of crisis. We greatly appreciate the time out you were able to provide our son. Hearing about your facility was like a light in the darkness we were experiencing, and we can never thank you enough for helping us."
Wow.
So they're real families, real people when you ask, don't know those people, but real stories and real kids who are going through those challenges.
Absolutely. And so now we've really covered, why it's so important to come together as a community
Right.
to recognize that this is a serious, serious issue.
Right.
Now, how do we help? Anybody watching out there, what can we do to make a difference?
Well, first thing, I have a little prop here that actually our Director of Housing and Homeless Services has in her office. So just to make a point, there are a lot of ways that people can get involved. They can volunteer with our family services, and there are many ways that people can volunteer. They can go to our website and find out what those volunteer needs are. And obviously, they can give financially. And number one, as I tell people, you can find out about a problem, you come to a fork in the road, and you can either do something about it or not. So I think that's part of the challenge when you look at poverty in our community, and depending on which list you look at, and it's sort of a negative number, but we're either 5th or 6th poorest metro area in the country. And so we, along with many other agencies, are trying to address that, and one of the main challenges we face, obviously, are people who are homeless. So.
Absolutely, and having, like we were talking about at the beginning, the only, youth homeless shelter, that is got to be, there was that niche. It's so amazing that this home came about.
Yes, it's been really amazing. We had a smaller home previously that served about 10 kids at a time. So to be able to double that number and serve about 20 kids at any given time is amazing. And we are always full. The need is just huge. And the fact that there are homeless kids living on our streets should, I hope people would want to get involved and help with that. That's not okay, you know?
Yeah.
Right. No, that's exactly right. It is not okay. And we hope our viewers are listening and
Yes.
are encouraged to do something, take that first step into helping this wonderful organization.
Right.
And I want to thank you both so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you for having
Thanks,
us.
Tina.
And to learn more about our family services, you can call 323-1708, extension 416, or log on to ourfamilyservices.org.